Hello everybody. Life is all about making decisions, and so is with computers. Computers need to make decisions all the time. So let's talk about decision making. For example, when we wake up, there might be a question that, am I tired? If I'm tired, then go back to bed, sleep more. If I'm not tired, then there might be another question that, can we start the business meeting? And so on. Or there might be a question that, is it raining? If it's raining, take an umbrella. If it's not raining, then take a t-shirt and let's go out with the t-shirt, and so on. And so do computers also. Computers are doing a lot of decisions, and the programs are making many decisions. I have created this example of the situation where we have a condition, and then we will divert according to the answer. This is actually called a flow chart. You can Google about it. This is very normal in programming. We are making flow chart. So let's say that we want to start driving lessons, and we will go to the driving company. And the first question they will ask is, are you over 18 years old? If I answer no, then we will go here and do this action. Cannot join driving lessons. See you next time when you are 18 years old. But if the answer is yes, then we go here, and then we will have another condition. Have you got a bank card? If the answer is no, we will do this action. And the action will be that we will give a message that, sorry, but only cards are accepted, and can you come back another day when you have a card? If the answer is yes, we will go here, we will take the payment, and we will let them to start the driving lesson class. Now let's start coding here. First, let's look at the true-false statements involved here. Let's say that we have a variable a, and we set a to 5. So the value of a is 5. Whenever we ask a after this, its value will be 5. Now we can ask questions that, is a equal to 5? So this one returns true or false. Well, a is 5, so 5 equals 5, that's true, so this condition is true. Here we are checking inequality. Is a not equal with 5? That's false, because a is 5, so this is false. This is greater. Is a greater than 5? That's not true. A is 5, it's not greater than 5. This is checking greater or equal condition. If a is greater or equal to 5, this is true because a is 5, so it is true. This is checking if a is less than 5. A is 5, so this is false. And this is checking if a is less or equal than 5, which is true. So these are the things we're gonna use now a lot here in programming. Let's start. I will put an example here again. Let's say that we are talking about age, the human's age, and we will initialize the age variable 19. So the value of age variable is 19. Now we have a new command in C++, which is if. So we can now check this age, that if age is equal to 30, then we will print a message. The message we will print here is that you are 30 years old. Aha, I need to put the using namespace std because of this cout. So here we are checking that if age is equal to 30, then we will print that you are 30 years old. Well, age is 19, so 19 is not equal to 30, so this will not be printed. The next thing we will check here is that, I just put quickly here a couple of these if statements here. We can have a couple of examples here now. This one is checking that if age is greater or equal than 18, then this person can have a driving license. You can get a driving license because 18 is the limit. in this example 19 is okay, so this will become true and this will print this message. Now we will have a new command here, which is if else. If else. So what this means that if this is true, then we will go and execute this one. Else we will execute this one. So what are we checking here? We are checking that is this person an adult or not an adult. If age is less than 18, then the person is a child. That means that we will go here and print you are child. Else, what does else mean here? Well, else means, I put a comment here, else means that age is the opposite, right? And the opposite is that age is greater or equal than 18. That's the opposite of this one. So if this is not true, then this is true. So age is 18 or more than 18. And in that case we will print that you are an adult. Now let's look at a combination of these checks. So we can put two of them, we can combine them. What if we want to check that if the person is greater or equal than 13 or less and equal than 19, which is a teenager? Let's say that we need to check that is the person a teenager? Is the person a teenager? How would we do that? So that's a range. If it's greater or equal than 13 and less or equal than 19, then the person is a teenager. The way to do is like this. Okay, so this is how we do it. I will go it slowly. If age is greater or equal to 13 and age is less or equal than 19, then you are a teenager. So this is checking a range from 13 to 19. If age is greater or equal than 13 and age is less or equal than 19, that means that we are talking about range 13 to 19, right? This is how we do range, and this is a new keyword and. We also have or. So what would this mean? This is or. Well, this would mean that if age is greater or equal than 13 or age is less or equal than 19, well, this is not teenager, this would be something else. So that means everything, isn't it? All ages will be true, right? So this would not be a good condition here because all ages this will be true for all ages. Because for example 100 is greater than 13, so 100 is okay. Age 1 or age 2 will be also okay because age 2 is less or equal than 19 and there is an or. So it doesn't matter which one is true. If this is true or this is true, then everything is true. Okay, I just put it there to learn the or statement. Let's look at the next one. Inequality. Let's check if the person is 50. This means not equal. If age is not equal to 50, then we will print that you are not 50 years old. So it's the opposite of this one here. Here we are checking that if age is 30, here we are checking if it's not something. If it's not 50, then print that you are not 50 years old. Now let's look at the keyword or, which we already did there. I will do it again, but something which makes sense. Okay, so here we are checking that again age is 19. Here we are checking that if age is less than 13 or age is greater than 19. So what does this mean? Well, it means that let's put the 13 there and then put 19 there. So this means if age is less than 13, so it means 12, 11, 10. So it means 12, 12, 11. So everything which is less than 13 will be okay. Or age is greater than 19. Okay, so that means that 20 is the first one, which is okay. 20, 21, and so on. And here we go, so on to the left. Okay. So this one or this one, then all of this is true. So that means that it's not teenager, right? That's why I'm printing here, you are not a teenager. So it's not, if it's not this one, it means that it's not teenager. Okay, so it's kind of opposite what we did here. Next, let's create a simple program now, very short program using if statements. Let's say that we have a cash machine, and the final question is that do you want to continue working with this cash machine, or do you want to end, something like that. We are withdrawing a cash from the cash machine, and now the machine is asking, okay, you just did something, do you want to end now? How would we do that? What we could do here is that we will first, this is a new example, by the way, cash machine example. Okay, so let's put a little bit of space here. Okay, so first we can have a selection that yes or no, and then we can actually I'll put nothing here. We will create a string which will later on contain the user input, and then we will put here the question. We will print the question, do you want to continue using this cash machine? And then the user is expected to type yes or no. And then we remember that cin will take the answer from the user, and we will store it in the string variable. So if the user types yes, the yes will be put into this selection variable. And now we need to check this selection after this, that if the selection is yes, then we will continue the machine. Otherwise, we will stop the machine. So let's see what we need to do here. And I will just copy the code here. We will look at it. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are checking that if the selection is yes, or it's uppercase yes, because maybe sometimes when people are typing, they're typing like this, right? It's asking them to type like this, but we will do like this, and somebody might even type like this, right? So we are actually taking it account here. We are letting small error come, because this is also yes, right? And this is also yes. So that's why we are giving them some freedom. If the selection is yes, or uppercase yes, or everything is uppercase, in all of those three cases we will continue the machine. We're just printing here that please select the action from the menu. So we will continue using the machine. Otherwise means that it's not yes. Was not yes. Else means that not yes. Aha. Okay, we already looked at the else here. Yeah, okay. So else means that if this was not true, else we will go here. So that means that we will close the machine. Thank you for using this cash machine. Have a good day. Okie dokie. Let's now think about another example where there's a timeout also, because cash machines, they have timeout. Let's say that the user is waiting something, for example, talking with his friends. The machine is asking this question, do you want to continue? And the machine can't just wait forever. Let's say that there's a 1 minute expiry. So how would we add expiry there, that the user is, if the user waits too long, he can't continue the machine anymore? We could have an integer for that. Let's say that we have an integer here. That's a new one, this one, new exercise here. We will have an integer for the time. How many seconds has gone? Let's say 180 seconds. Now we need to have two conditions here. We will continue. Oh, I forgot to ask the question actually. Yes, we'll kind of need to ask these questions here after, sorry. So, do you want to continue using this machine? Yes or no? And then we will take the input value into this selection variable. Now we need to check two conditions here. Again, if one of these is true, that selection is yes, but we need to also check that is there a timeout. There are two conditions now. The timeout check, and also we are checking that did the user type yes. They both needs to be true. If the user replied quickly and the user chose yes, then we will continue the machine. But if the user breaks one of these, that user was too slow, or if the user type no, then all of this is no. This brings no, and then we will not do this. If there is and here, that means that both of them needs to be true in order this one, the whole of this be true. If one of them is false, then all of this is false, and this would not be executed. Okay, so if the user spent too much time, or they answered no, then the else block becomes true, and we will close the machine somehow. I think if it's a polite machine, it will tell that there was a timeout. So how can we here? This means that we need to the machine closes for this person. But maybe we can give a message that if it was a timeout, we will tell that timeout, and then we will close. Okay, so let's do that first. It's just polite that if there was a timeout, we will tell that we are closing because there was a timeout. So if the seconds, how many seconds the user was waiting, is greater than 100 seconds, then we will print timeout. If this is the amount of seconds he was waiting, and if it's more than 100 seconds, then we will print timeout. And always after that we will also say that the machine is closed now for you. Then we will always print that thank you for using this machine, have a good day. So this message only will be printed if there was a timeout, but this message will always be printed if we are closing the machine. Let's actually run this. I haven't run anything here yet, so let's start running a little bit also. So I will remove all that code from above because we don't want to run that one at this point. We are only running this code now. So let's go and do this. The selection variable is not created here. We need to create the selection variable here, which is a string. Okay, so let's run this now. Do you want to continue using this cache machine, yes or no? Let's say yes. Okay, so it says timeout, thank you for using this machine. Even though I said yes, it says timeout and it will close the machine. Because the timeout, we fixed it 180 here, right? But if we put the timeout at 30 seconds, it's less than 100, so now it should let you to continue. So now I say yes. Okay, please select the action from the menu. So now we can continue. And if I type no, thank you for using the cache machine, have a good day. So this way we can have multiple if statements embedded inside the else block or if block. Like this if block might have another if inside here, obviously. Whatever we would like to do there. We could add here more ifs here. So if this section is true, it will come inside here, and then we could have another if here. whatever we would like to check next here. Okie dokie, and let's look at the next example. So let's talk about countries now. Let's say that we are checking that from which country a person is from or which country they are talking about. In this case, let the variable be a country variable, like this. So it's a string variable and it has a value China. The country is China at the moment. And now we are checking which country it is, and we are acting accordingly. So if the country is Switzerland, we will say that, oh, they have now some mountains there. Well, China is not Switzerland, so it will, in this case, it will not print this message here. Okay, and the next thing we can check that else. If it's not Switzerland, it could be another country. Okay, so if it's not Switzerland, else if. So now we have a new keyword, else if. If this is true, we're gonna do this one. Else, we are checking another condition. So if this is not true, then we will go here and we will check another condition here. Okay, so they are exclusive. If this is true, we will never come here anymore. They are exclusive. This is exclusive with this one. So if it's not Switzerland, then we will come here and we will check that, okay, is it USA? Is this country USA then? If it's USA, then we will print that nice, Microsoft is from there. Okie dokie. But what if it's not Switzerland and not USA? Well, we can continue this. Another else if here. If it's not Switzerland, it will go here next and it will check that, okay, is it USA? If it's not USA, we will check again. In that case, is it Italy? If it's Italy, we will just say that Rome is the capital. And then we can continue. So let's now check that, is it Asian country? We can do another else if. If it's none of these, then we can check that is it an Asian country. I didn't put all of them here, but let's say that we are happy with this one. So else if the country is China, or the country is Japan, or the country is Korea, or the country is India, or the country is Philippines, the Philippines. If it's any of these, then we will print that, okay, it's in Asia. Okay. Again, they all exclusive because none of these countries is here. For example, if I put here China, what will happen now? Because they are exclusive, all of these are exclusive. So if I put China here, it can never come here anymore because it will go here and then go here. It will jump to here. It would never go here. This ends this section. So this would not make sense to put China here and China also here if there is an else if. Okay. And then we can have one more, which is else. Else means if it's only else, that means that if none of these was true, then to the default here, we can, for example, say that no comment. Okay, because we don't know anything else about that country, what we type here. For example, if we say Spain, because the Spain is none of these, what we are checking here, we have no comments. We are not talking about that country at all then. So we can only comment on these countries we have here. Yeah, so we have if, else if, and then else if none of those was true. So in this case, it will always go to one of these sections. And this is the order. It first checks this one. If that's not true, then it will check this one, and so on. And if none of this was true, then it will go here. Okay, so next one. And at the beginning of the lesson, I showed this diagram. Let's see it again. Driving lesson. So I'm gonna do this one now. Actually, I'm gonna code this. So this is a challenge. We're gonna do this program actually. A real working program which really works. So let's do this. We need to ask the question from the user that are you over 18? Let's do this box first. So this is getting interesting now. So I'm gonna print first that gonna make some space because this is totally different exercise here. Driving lessons exercise. So first we are printing this nice thing that driving lessons. How old are you? We're asking that question that how old are you? And how do we capture the input from the user? It's gonna be integer. So we will put the integer variable there, and we're using cin to get that value from the user. So user types, for example, 35 and press enter, then the 35 goes into this variable. So now is the decision making time. We need to check that is that age greater or equal to 18 or less than 18. Okay, so we need to check this age here. If age is greater or equal than 18, that means that he is an adult and he can drive a car. Okay, so then we put the brackets here, and inside the brackets we will do all the actions if this is true. First we can ask a question that, actually let's go and look what we need to do then. So if it's true, then it's yes, and we will go here, and then we need to ask another question because we need to pay now. Have you got the bank card? So how do we now code this one? Let's ask the question first. Okay, we are inside this block. The person, I put a comment, the person is an adult. They can drive a car. They can drive a car. Okay, and first we're gonna ask now from the customer that can you pay by card? We are expecting them to answer yes or no. And like here we need to capture that value. So that's gonna be string because they're gonna type yes or no. That's string text. So we need a string variable to capture that value. So answer, let's call it just card answer. I call it card answer. That sounds better. It's answer for the card question. And so this will be now yes or no. So now we need to check. Okay, so now we have again two options, yes or no. If the customer type yes, then we will take the payment and start the driving lesson. Okay, so let's check now that first. If the card answer is yes, then we can print that, okay, can you please give me your card and we will process the payment. Thank you, it costs $800. I will take the payment and then I will show you the classroom and we can start the driving lessons. Okay, so that's done now. This is done now. And then they can answer no, that they don't have the card. So what do we need to do? So if this is true that they have the card, we will go here. So how would we do the other one? Well, it's gonna be else, just else. There are two options here, whether they have it or not. So this will be the case when they don't have a card. That's the else situation. And in that case we will just print that, hey, sorry, we can't do this now. Please, what did I write here? I hope I wrote something polite. Sorry, we only take cards. Please come back another day and bring your card if possible. Thank you very much. So what have we done so far? We have done this route, right? We did this one, we did this one. This is missing, this no section from the top, right? So here we are asking that about the age. So if they say no, what we're gonna do? This is the case of yes. Sorry, this is the case of that yes, they are 18 years old. It's gonna be else here. Okay. And here we can print that situation here. Cannot join driving lessons. So this is the situation where the person is a child. Less than 18 is a child, by the way. Less than 18. So this is the situation where they are less than 18, and now we just tell this customer that, hey, sorry, we can't do this now. Please grow up a little bit. So, sorry, only adults can drive car. That's the message. And then we will say that you need to wait. And this is how many years they need to wait, because it's 18 minus whatever age they say. If they say that they are 15 years old, for example, this would be 18 minus 15. So we will print you need to wait 3 years to start driving. Okay, let's now run this code, by the way. There we go. How old are you? Let's say I'm 17 years old. Sorry, only adults can drive car. Let's see what happened here. So I type 17. The age variable has value 17 now. It goes here. 17 is not greater than 18. So this is false. That's why it's gonna go to the else block. Okay. And it's gonna execute the else block. It's that simple. There's nothing else to check. That's why it goes directly there. Now let's run it again. Let me be 21 years old. Oh, actually, let me check that this print where I didn't check that. Let's say that we are 14 years old. It should print that you have 4 years more to go. Just do it one more time. About 14. Yeah, you need to wait 4 years to start driving. That's correct. It's because of this. Let's now say that we are 21 years old. Okay. Can you pay by card? I say yes. Thank you. It costs $800 and so on. And we will check one more time. So 22 years old. Can you pay by card? No. Sorry, we can only take cards. Yeah. So these are the basics of decision making, and we will be doing a lot of this in the future, so don't worry if you didn't get everything right now. See you in the next video.